Welcome to another episode of Low Gear. Before we head back to Canada and Ross's collection of old trucks, the sad news is that Bill Troughton of Matamata passed away a few weeks ago. Today, they're auctioning off his vast collection of vintage machinery and vehicles. As you can see by the cars, there are a lot of people in attendance here. We spoke to Bill during our Talking Truck show, and he was delighted in showing us his three-wheeler trucks. He said his mate was in Singapore, and he said, "Why don't you bring me back a tuk-tuk?" And the three-wheeler truck is what he brought back. In Bill's humour, the number plates are lost one and minus one, and he did show us the old Model T Ford bus, as well as pretty much everything else that's on display here today. Looking at Bill's old tractors here reminds me of the time in Series 2 of Low Gear when we joined Bill and other members of the Waikato Vintage Tractor Club's Tractor Pull event, which Bill had a big part in organising. So this is a tribute to Bill and a chance for those of you who knew him to once again enjoy Bill's quirkiness and the way he enjoyed life in vintage machinery. He will be missed. Bill, this is this part of the Waikato Vintage Tractor Club?
That's it, Bill, yeah, Waikato Vintage Tractor Club, yes.
And how often do you do this?
Not often enough. This is a great spot here, but we go to different shows, one thing and another, and we are very fortunate here. This is Dalton's Sand Pit. The conditions here are excellent. We've been coming here for a good number of years now. Unfortunately, today's a bit wet and sticky, but anyway, the show has to go on.
Yeah, but all the tractors are equal in what they have to do.
Well, exactly, yeah, the big ones, little ones, and we adjust it roughly the size of the tractor to the number of weights we put on the sleds, yeah. Tractors are like people, I reckon. They're like you and I, and you look around, there's a few younger ones.
It's like buying a dog, you get something that suits you.
Like that, exactly, yeah.
But it looks a bit like you too after a while.
Exactly. No, good variety. They go back to the, I don't know, that little one of mine goes back to the 30s. I see another one, case over there. Yeah, they were quite early, different horsepower.
Yeah, that little one of yours is 12.
12 horsepower,
and you moved it sort of 2 feet.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Yeah, I was going to put on a great show there, but it didn't eventuate.
The other thing I was going to ask you, Bill, is how are the points, or how is this sort of what makes this a competition? Do you get points from how far you go? How does it work?
Yeah, just the one that pulls it the furthest, yeah, he wins the competition. Yeah, simple as that. No prize money, nothing like that.
Just a pat on the back and here's a beer.
Just a pat, yeah. A bit of a social thing later on. Usually we get together and have a couple of cups of water or a cup of tea and the odd beer or something like that. Yeah. So the idea is to keep a nice level pull, the same height as your drawbar.
So that's what they're doing with this particular job?
Yes, yeah. They're just adjusting it to suit the height of the drawbar.
That's a relatively modern tractor compared to some of them here.
Yeah, it's probably not. It's older than you think. I wouldn't be too. That's probably back in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in the 80s. Yeah, some of them are a little bit deceiving.
Yeah.
Like some ladies, a good coat of paint and a bit of lipstick.
And a kind light.
Yeah. Yeah, they come up pretty good. The worst of them can come up pretty good.
What Bill's going to do is going to bring the field marshal, which is one cylinder, as you say. It's a bloody big cylinder. And you start those things with a cartridge, and they sit there going pop, 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 pop. We saw it earlier when we came just popping away and the whole thing's vibrating. Just saying, let's do something, come on. It's just full of energy, that tractor. Here he is, jumping on, and he'll get it over here and we'll see it do its thing. Here she comes, one field marshal. Very old tractor, and when you go to the shows they're usually sitting up with the Lance Bulldog, but they've got a sound all their own. Listen to that. And the little sideways gear stick there. Let's ask Bill how many gears it's got. A couple of little levers on the back there. There we go. Take it away. Strain's on. Kicker in the guts rev. And vibrates its way up to the top. One cylinder. Doesn't even look like slowing down. And as they were saying, this is all about who can pull the tractor the furthest. It's near the end of the course there. He's away. Well, he's certainly done better than his little 12-horse tractor he had before. We went 2 feet. This has gone the whole 100 metres. No worries at all. Good on you, Bill. ProTrans. They specialise in a variety of earth moving and demolition options, and they have a great system in place with their trucks to do that very efficiently. They also have diggers available, and for that job that carries an element of danger, they have remote control diggers. So they have everything you need for your demolition or earth moving job. So check them out, www.protrans.com, and give Jared and his team a call, and you'll find it all on their webpage at www.protrans.com. Ross, up until 1940, the Rios arrived in New Zealand, and they were a good heavy-duty truck. They lasted a long time and seemed to cope with the New Zealand roads quite well. But this model, I think there's something similar to it in the Richardson Museum, but that sort of got the GMC sort of looking cab.
Yes.
On the front there, and the rounding doors that look like it come off of white. And yeah, this is called a Gold Comet. The bonnet up does that?
I believe it does, yeah.
Yeah, well, it
Looks like it, yeah.
And there we have is that a diesel or petrol?
Yeah, that's gas.
Yeah, petrol. Oh yeah, big carburetor there.
Yeah.
We're going to have a quick look at this before we drop this bonnet on ourselves, folks. So there's what came in the Rio of the time. And we'll just drop
this truck has air brakes.
No brakes.
Air brakes.
Air brakes. Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Air brakes, and what year is it?
I'm not sure of the year of this. I would guess it to be early 50s.
Yeah, early 50s, yeah. 51 or 52, thereabouts, yeah.
And I believe it was used as a logging truck before I got it. The last new Rio, I got a picture of it inside, was, or one of the last ones that I saw here. A neighbor of mine had bought one brand new in 1965.
But just looking at this bonnet with this bit of a shape to it, you know, they've tried to get a bit of style.
Yes.
The mudguards, a bit of style, sort of like the Diamond T. That had lovely style and lines as well. So Rio's done the same, big lump of chrome everywhere. But look at this, folks. This is the chrome Rio, around the front there, a bit like the KB International, had all the fruit. Well, this is sort of up there with them. It must have looked a really smart truck when it was new.
Yes.
And then the loggers got it and bumped into a few things.
Yeah, it looks like they
got the West Coast mirrors on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really smart truck.
Yes.
And there's what the equivalent, I suppose, down the back there, folks. Come have a look. So if you can sort of see the front of this Rio, and down the back there, there's a looks like a KB.
That's a KB10.
KB10.
Or KB11.
Really? KB11? It's the next one. Wow.
About a 48 model.
Yeah. So look at the two trucks. They're very similar in their style. So 48, 49, 50, 51, all around about there. They're still turning out a good looking truck. But this is a KB11, folks. Look at the size of it. And the tyres are the thing, sort of 900, maybe 1,000.
These are 11s.
11? Wow.
I think that was pretty standard on a K11.
And they went higher than that? Do you know?
They've made a K14 and they probably had 1,200 rubber.
Wow. And it had a squarer front, I think Jim was telling us.
Some of the K14s looked like this,
Oh, okay,
and some of them had a flatter front.
right. Yeah. And then they disappeared in favour of the next model up.
I guess the L
the
model
L and the R. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just great to see a great big huge one of those. I think
Yes.
the biggest we've got in
Yeah.
New Zealand's about an 8 or a 9 or something like that.
Yes.
Would that have a red diamond
Red
in it?
diamond,
Yeah.
450 cubic inch red diamond. And
Excellent. There's another large auto car like the one down in Christchurch. Hell of a long bonnet, huge bonnet. Strapped a huge engine in it. Great big enormous steering wheel that takes up most of the truck. Now if I look in that cab, it's got a great dashboard, but I'll just jump up there. I actually thought the cab was bigger than this, but I'm going to wear the bottom of my singlet out because it's rubbing there. It's got 4 gears in this stick, and it's got a high-low ratio in this stick. And this is one of those little timekeeping devices that we saw in recent shows from Forest Products. Sid Hoggs got one in his one, Barry Caulfield in his Pacific, he's got 2 of them in his one. It's just interesting that here in Canada they've got exactly the same thing, so there you go. But this is an autocar similar to the one that we saw down in Christchurch many shows ago. But certainly a very big truck, and for the 40s, amazing. Can you just explain what this is?
yeah, that's the air cylinder that operates the shutters.
Yep.
And there'll be a heat sensor on the motor that when it gets hot,
Tells
cools
this thing.
off enough, it'll tell that to close the shutters. And when it gets hot enough again, it'll
Tell that to open up.
open them. Yeah.
All automatic, so the driver just carries
Driver just
on.
drives. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a Mack innovation, or is that just
I
something?
think the shutters were on a lot of heavy trucks.
Yeah, right. This looks like it's sort of been added on for some reason. I don't know what makes me think that, but
Yeah, I think that's
it's a standard
factory.
Mack.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly a bulletproof bumper
Yeah.
on the front, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Ross, an international, we haven't seen anything like this in New Zealand. I don't
No.
think they even saw them in Australia.
No.
But maybe just run me through this.
Well, this is a model we call the West Coast model. I believe was built in California. And this truck originally came out with a 1090 Hall-Scott gas engine. Later, somebody put a Cummins in it.
Those Hall-Scott engines are petrol,
Yes.
and they're doing about 1.5 miles a gallon.
Yes. That's probably why they put the Cummins in. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but the door on the side of this looks like the, is it open? Yep. This looks like on the Boss and other, like Western Star, White,
Yes.
those sorts of, just the shape of this door.
Yes.
Then we look inside again, it's got twin sticks
Yeah.
and a very industrial looking dashboard, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't.
I guess I think they call this the 3-man cab.
Twin sticks, a dashboard that you can sort of add and subtract as
Yeah.
required. Yep. Wow. And a 3-man cab. It's actually wider than most things,
Yes.
and 2 men and a driver. Yeah. Now at the rear end we've got. I think it's amazing, Ross, how you've got it come out of the gear stick and gearbox.
Yeah.
You come out of the gearbox with the drive shaft into the top of that, which is driving the
Yeah.
diff, and then an extension out to drive the back diff, and that's on another bit of an angle as well.
Yes.
Doug was showing us a machine that was all drive shafts. Come out and went up and up
Oh,
and around
yeah,
and over
yeah.
and crossed and down and in. It's just so the angle of these drive shafts is always interesting to me,
Yeah,
that they can
yeah.
make it
Yes. Yeah.
different angles to get it to do what it does.
These differentials are the worm drive ones. They have a
okay.
brass gear in their worm drive.
Ross, I'm just looking at this Mack.
Yeah.
And you sort of see the trucks on the road, and the guys are really proud of them, and so they,
Yeah.
you know, they're polishing the. That's probably aluminium, but they polish it so it looks like chrome.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
the big chrome tank polished, air cleaner polished, the steps up into the, you know,
Yeah.
covering up the batteries polished, polished the exhaust pipes out
Yeah.
the front here. There's chrome. There's a nice little cover across the front here, chrome bumper and chrome little
Yeah.
side indicators. I
Yeah, this is a
suppose you call it.
B73, and they're classy looking truck.
Yeah.
And
So this is slightly different from the other ones?
yeah, this would be a little newer, but
Oh,
it
okay.
has the L cab,
Yep,
and this would be a later model.
right. So it's called a
This,
B.
this is called a B, even though it has an L cab.
Oh, okay.
And this is a B73. They made a model that was called a B75, and near as I can tell, the ones that end in 3 have a Cummins engine, and the ones that end in 5 have a Mack engine.
Wow.
Seems to be.
Yeah.
And I've seen this model with the B cab and the L cab. Same front, but
Yeah. But just
Yeah.
having all this just makes
Yeah.
it look a lot nicer. I think it's the word.
more to clean, eh?
Yeah, more to clean. Ross, I think there's one haze in New Zealand, and it was brought in for, I don't know what, but I know it's around somewhere, and I need to find it. But
Yeah.
Hayes was a popular truck in Canada,
Yes.
built in
especially-
Canada.
Built in British Columbia, and especially popular for logging.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
big square
Yes.
logging truck.
Hayes built cab overs too for over the road, and they also built a different model, a clipper model that was popular on the highway as well
Oh,
as
okay.
logging.
Right. So-
And
so-
this was the HD model, which
Heavy
was
duty.
used for logging and oil fields.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's, the Pacific was a couple of guys from work for Hayes, and they've gone off and started.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah.
And the Pacific was built here as well.
Yes, the Pacific was built in Vancouver, British Columbia.
But if I look
Yeah.
at the door on some of the Hazes, and you can just see where the Pacific have got their ideas
Yes,
from. So they've just
yeah,
gone
yeah.
with a whole bunch of ideas that they've got from Hayes. And,
Same engineer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and built the
Yeah.
opposition, I suppose.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just a basic truck. It's nothing flash about it. It just gets on with what it has to do.
Yes. This HD model was a little more popular around here because of the setback axle,
Oh, okay.
and the Hayes put a little bit better steering cylinder in their trucks so they turn sharper
Oh,
than
okay.
a Pacific.
Yeah, right. So there's an advantage straight away.
Yes. And the Hayes, because of that setback, I think rode a little nicer.
Oh,
They
okay.
put a little more, by having the axle set back, it increased the weight on the steer axle, and I think it balanced them a little nicer for bush roads.
They got the twin sticks or triple sticks?
Most of these had the two
okay.
sticks, yeah,
Yeah, right.
two transmission.
Just looking at the little light that's just put on the side of the radiator for somewhere
Yes.
to put it, but if you were coming in the opposite direction and saw two little lights
Yes,
and suddenly this whole wide thing sort of
yeah,
materializes out of the mist, you go, holy God.
yeah.
Yeah. But a big truck, never
Yeah.
came to New Zealand, and when did they start building these? In the 30s?
Not sure, I believe in the 30s,
Yeah.
and I believe they built them up till, gotta say, 75,
Oh, okay.
1975, I think
And-
Hayes went out.
And then I think it was Kenworth maybe bought them out.
Yeah, or Mac.
Somebody, one of them.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, or, I believe.
Yeah, but if these were built in Canada, I
Yeah.
can't see any reason why we couldn't have had them in New Zealand.
No.
All part of the Commonwealth.
Yes, Pacific shipped theirs over.
Yeah, in
the-
'54 we've got a whole
Yeah,
bunch of new
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why Hayes didn't.
No. Anyway, I guess the
No.
salesman went on to it.
Yes,
I guess so. But we could have had Hayes in New Zealand. It come from Canada. Pacific obviously did come to New Zealand and
yes,
did a great job hauling the 2-3 trailers,
yes,
massive loads, and that's what they were built for. Just get
Yes.
on with it. And Ross, here is a Pacific. Ta-da! You've got one in your yard.
yes.
The slightly sloping bonnet. I mean, just looking at the sides of this, it looks like the ones that came to New Zealand in 1954.
Oh yeah.
They weren't, as high as the
Yeah.
other one. So this would be a P something, or is it?
As far as I know, this isn't a P9 yet, but it would be the similar size of a P9. The model doesn't say that on this one,
Right,
but this was. They went away from that sloped hood in about 64, 65, and they went with the square
that's a big
high hood.
I mean, the bonnet on the ones that came to New Zealand is about here,
Yeah. Yeah.
But my mate Barry Caulfield restored one, and it looks like that. In fact, I'll see if I can find a photograph
Yes.
and show you.
Yeah. 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 They were a bit ahead of their design here for a while, and then
Yeah.
they,
Now there's a collection of sticks in there.
one, there would be 2 transmissions, and the little one on this side would be for to run the winch to load the trailer.
Oh, okay. Right.
It was a logging truck. And,
I just think the dashboard looks a bit more modern than the one that Barry rebuilt.
yeah, I believe this is a 62.
Oh, okay. Oh, righto. So it's up there. Wow.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a basic design, really. Just a square cab engine out the front.
Yeah.
Everything that it needs, and get on with the job.
Yes. Yeah. Very reliable log hauling truck. Yeah.
Wow. Oh well. There you go, folks. It's about as close as we're going to get to what Barry restored earlier, and we took to Kawerau, and the boys had a ride in it.
ProTrans. They specialise in a variety of earth moving and demolition options, and they have a great system in place with their trucks to do that very efficiently. They also have diggers available, and for that job that carries an element of danger, they have remote control diggers. So they have everything you need for your demolition or earth moving job. So check them out, www.protrans.com, and give Jared and his team a call, and you'll find it all on their webpage at www.protrans.com.
See this Mack here, this is my favorite of the works.
Oh, okay. This is what
That's got a setback axle, Cummins motor, nice big rad, you can't overheat it. And you see the floor on these
drops down like a pan. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you a little more leg room. And I like this part here. That's your signals.
We're just pushing
and if you want them both, you push them both. If you want 4 ways.
Wow.
And this is my invention of the park brake. You push down on the pedal, pull this little lever, and that's your poor man's parking brake.
Ross, I saw one of these at Hull Oaks, the mill.
Oh.
Just exactly like big, solid mud guards, big, heavy.
I have another one there
radiator.
that's one serial number away from this one. This is 1258, and the other one's 1259.
Wow.
This says B73, but it doesn't mean it. It's a B83.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't have any stickers for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the big cast radiator?
Well, it's a cast tank instead of a tin tank, but that thing, even all plugged up like that with that sign, never did heat up, even in the heat of the summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is this the sort of like the big version, the big green one you got there? Is this the B series?
Yeah.
Copy of
I would say about the same.
Yeah.
But very nice truck. These.
Looks nice.
Steered nice. Drove nice.
Is that a log lifter doofer on the front there?
Yeah. Yes.
So you load your own truck.
Yeah. Load yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we don't really know what happened to GMC, and I see one over there. It's probably about a 19...
that's the 50.
50s.
That's a 50, I think.
Yeah.
And my logging truck, the first one, was a 52, like that, only a little bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had a Chev on the other side, Ford.
A Mercury, I think. Yeah.
Mercury Ford.
Yeah.
And
KB with a,
There's a KB11 back here. Yeah.
and a 14? No?
Not a 14. I got 12 down here with a flat front. I'll show you.
Oh yeah,
That's
that'd be good.
down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is a K12 International, 1948. It has a Cummins motor, 2 transmissions.
And the odd thing about this is it's
Yeah.
got the completely different grille.
Different grill, shutters too.
But they operated from the controls from the cab.
No, it got an air cylinder in there.
Have they really?
Yeah. And
Air cleaner poking out the side there.
yeah,
The heavy duty model
yeah,
K International.
yeah.
There you go, folks. If you ever thought you'd never see one, well, we've just solved your problem. And as I said, you need to get this on your bucket list. In fact, we should really bring a little bit of a tour up here, and so you can see all this for yourself.
Yes.
Next door is another one of those great big heavy duty B model Max.
Yeah, this is one serial number from the other one.
Oh,
This
okay.
is 1259 and the other one was 1258. This one got air operated shutters here too.
Wow. What size wheels would these have, Ross?
Pardon me?
What size wheels would this International have? 1100?
1000 by 20.
1100 by 20.
1000 by 20.
Wow.
Somebody redesigned this one. They made swing out fenders so it was easier to work on. That wasn't factory. No, before I got it. But they work well. You just, there was a clip here and you just, yeah, you just pull that out and look how you get in there. It's got a big Cummins 335.
So do you think this is where Dodge got the idea from?
No, this guy probably got the idea from Dodge. It was,
okay.
it wasn't factory. This was done by
Oh, this is an add-on.
somebody that owned the truck.
Right.
Got tired of standing on his head in there. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't do too bad of a job of it.
No.
You know. This thing must have rotted off that holds it shut.
Wow. Ingenuity.
I put this as my security device. I put this on so I left it sitting in logging camps. They could lock the door.
Mr. Bean. Yeah.
No.
What's the car? Looks like an old Austin or something. You might remember, folks, we were talking to the people down at the Gisborne Museum and they had a Federal, it was a tow truck or something in its time.
Oh yeah.
And this is pretty close to what that truck looked like.
Yeah.
It's been squashed by something these days, but there it is, it's a Federal. Awesome.
Yeah. This had a 5-speed and a 4-speed auxiliary.
Did it?
Continental engine.